Coach, you know that old expression, right? When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. I think it's a great philosophy.
Oh, God, that's good.
You're able to take a negative and try to turn it into a positive. Today we saw a great press conference, great media availability for both Kirby Dach and Martin Saint Louis. And what we learned today was really, really cool, in my opinion. I was really excited to read about it and see this press conference. What we learned today in this press conference, Coach, is that obviously, just for anybody who doesn't know, unfortunately, Kirby Dach, missed some time last year. Very unfortunate. And then this year, 4 periods into the season, gets season-ending knee injury and is gone for the whole season. Right, so totally devastating. I had a headline several weeks ago where, to me, this was the biggest loss of the season for Montreal, was not being able to see, Newhook and Doc for a whole season, watch them develop, so they can really get a sense of what they have and what they need in the rebuild and everything else, right? So, but today we learned that Martin Saint Louis had what I think is a genius idea to not make this year completely lost for Kirby Dach. So what we learned, and this is so cool, guys, and I think you can also tie this into Cole Caulfield as well last year. So what we learned in this press conference is that since Kirby Dach obviously can't practice with the team and everything else, like I think all of us saw that he's been around for practices. He stayed in Montreal during his rehab. He's at all the games in the press box, and he's sometimes sitting on the bench during practice. But what we didn't know until today, Coach, is that Martin Saint Louis has been actually inviting Kirby Dach every morning to join the coaching staff to do pre-scout meetings with him and the coaching staff.
So that's great.
And Kirby Dach has been coming in early. And for those of you who don't know, Coach, you probably know, but coaches come in ridiculously early in the morning before all the other players, right? To review tape. Like, it's not like they just come in, half an hour before practice starts. They're in early in the morning. They have to kind of review all the tape, get everything ready, pick out all this stuff that they want to show the players, come up with a plan for practice and all that, right? So they're there super early. So what we learned is that Kirby Dach has been coming in the morning, sitting with the coaching staff. They're giving him homework to do pre-scouting stuff, and they're really relying on his opinion and asking him to bring insights and everything else. So again, I saw some comments on Twitter saying, "Oh my God, what a rookie mistake! Is Martin Saint Louis relying on a 23-year-old to give him advice on how to coach a game?" Like, guys, come on, let's be real. It's not like the coaching staff is relying on Kirby Dach, or he's part of the coaching staff, but it's just a great opportunity for them to keep him engaged in the process and develop his hockey mind. And there are probably advantages, like, the coaching staff have never played against some of these players. So they're using the advantage that Kirby Dach has been playing, has played against some of these teams. And it's giving him the opportunity to stay involved with the team, being able to get a totally different point of view on the game. And it's making sure that this year, even though, let's be honest, it's not ideal that he misses this whole year, but at least they're taking the time. And like Martin Saint Louis has said before, right? Aggressively patient. They, we want to be aggressively patient with the time that we have. So they're making the best use of the time that they have with Kirby Dach, and at least getting him to contribute and to participate in the Montreal Canadiens season. He went further to say that Kirby Dach has kind of a unique ability on the team. Not every player has it in his DNA to be able to approach another player and give them feedback on their game, right? So I think Kirby Dach, we had heard a little bit about this earlier in the season, that Dach was giving feedback to Slavkovsky on little things that he was noticing. Coach, I and Enortap, I just find this is so smart, such a good way to, like I said, make lemonade out of life giving you lemons. So I just really like this approach, and I wonder, maybe we didn't hear a ton about this, but like Caulfield, right? Like, we're seeing the impact this year. Caulfield being a more complete player. I'm wondering if we haven't heard anything, maybe in the background. Saint Louis also used that time that Caulfield was away last year and was working with him there as well. Because same thing. Remember, you saw Caulfield was always around the team, you know? So the way that I tie this in, Coach, we were talking about this before we went on air, but watching the celebration for Jaromir Jagr, he was giving an interview, or he was doing play-by-play with the guys doing the play-by-play, and he was talking about how Sidney Crosby, right, like, and him have that in common, that the best players in the world are the ones that are dedicated to improving every day. They're passionate about hockey.
Really?
And what we're seeing with our core players here, like, you can say that we've heard that about Slafkovsky recently, right? Like, he's coachable, he's a sponge, he's always wanting to learn more. You see that Caulfield is dedicated to playing the right way. And now we're hearing another important piece of our core, Kirby Dach, is waking up. Again, coach, he's rehabbing his knee. Like, that's in some players might just take a totally different approach. But for Kirby Dach, it was important for him to stay involved. I love this, coach. Like, to me, that's why I didn't want to talk about the question before about whether I think Dach is still going to be an impact even with his injuries. For me, when I see something like this, it raises my confidence level that this is a guy that you want to invest in. It's somebody who is totally invested in becoming a better person, a better hockey mind. So to me, people like that tend to do well in life, coach. Like, the more you work hard at something, the more that you're dedicated, the more you increase your chances at succeeding. Very impressed by this. I don't know if you guys saw the press conference, but I'm very curious to see what you guys think about what we learned today.
I couldn't agree with you more, Marco. I think that, to me, what St. Louis did is a true sign of a leader, right? You want the most out of your employees. What do? You empower them. You entrust them with certain responsibilities. It doesn't mean that you lack them yourself as a leader. You're just showing that this is a team concept. It's a perspective that you want to hear from everybody before you make that final decision. And you might have your mind made up from the beginning anyways, but you want to get that feedback because it makes your decision then that much more encouraging when you need to make it. I think it does great benefit for Dach as well because it keeps him active. This guy is motivated, no doubt about it. He is leadership material. He has a bit of a chip on his shoulder from his Chicago days because I think in his eyes he wasn't treated the way he should have been, and he's seen that here in Montreal he's getting that responsibility. Albeit in a short sample size. But I definitely agree with what he's done. It doesn't surprise me in the least. And I think that our next step, which will probably lead into my headline later on, is we're starting to build on that second line.
Thank you to watching another Habs Nation video. But before we leave, we invite you, don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the channel, and finally let us a comment about this video. And remember, you have greatness inside of you, and we wishes you an amazing, great, and blessing day.